what's up YouTube? I'm gonna do another YCD Yu-Gi-Oh community discussion, and this one is going to be about one of my favorite cards in the game right now, Royal Decree, and just how amazing this card is and how I personally believed it has completely shaken up the meta so much more than even I anticipated. I think a lot of people are still on the fence and still kind of hesitant, and I still see a lot of good decks that I feel like fail to maximize their potential because they don't run this card. And what I mean is, you saw from Maurice Brantley's Ab-Zero deck where he made 3 decrees, or Del Bolito and Lazaro's Scrap deck where they made 3 decrees. And the whole reasoning behind that is, yes, you give up protection and you give up a lot of defense when you do that, but this is a trap heavy format and we know that. And basically what that allows you to do is it allows you to run, 3 copies of this card, and potentially that's it as far as your traps, and be able to shut down maybe about 12 to 13 of your opponent's cards, which is essentially about 1/3 of their deck. And I still see a lot of people playing certain decks that really should be running the Decree lineup, and they don't. And I really think that it hurts the deck. I think it hurts the consistency of the deck, and it really hurts the explosiveness of the deck. The 3 decks that I think absolutely, positively should be running 3 Decree. Anything that uses debris, that would basically be Quick Draw and Debris-Heim decks, whether it be Dark Debris like the one that topped in Germany that got 2nd place that ran Decree, or the one that won the latest YCS. And you obviously see Quick Draw's ability to effectively use Decree in Pete Navarro's build. Second would be Scraps. And I say Scraps because the whole point of the deck is really just to get Scrap Dragon on the field and constantly abuse it. Scrap Dragon, I will say, does have a very good resistance to traps. He really kind of laughs at Mirror Force, Torrential, even Solemn Warning, as it does activate his effect. The only one that's really a pain in the ass for him is Bottomless, but you can pretty much just eliminate all of those and just play Decree, and you really won't have to worry about your Scrap Dragon summon being unopposed by anything other than Book of Moon, which is really good. And then Ab-Zero. Man, I need Ab-Zero. But anyways, Ab-Zero, because the deck can summon Ab-Zero very fast. Ab-Zero is a pain in the ass to deal with, and Ab-Zero is kind of your defense. You don't really need Mirror Forces and stuff like that when essentially if your opponent kills your Ab-Zero, they kill their field too. So Ab-Zero in himself is your defense. And that's what these decks, I think, have in common, especially with this deck. These decks don't have to play as much defense as the other decks. For instance, anything that runs Debris is going to be running Dandelion too. Dandelion tokens are solid defenses. This deck has also adopted cards like Snowman Eater and Spirit Reaper and such, so on and so forth. Even Debris himself has 2,000 defense. So, I mean, this deck has a good amount of walls. In Scrap, once you get Scrap Dragon out, I mean, he's a real pain to deal with. He's a pain to deal with without you basically getting something back, even if they kill it. I mean, even if they kill your Scrap Dragon, you can just get a Scrap back. And if you get Scrap Golem, I mean, you can just instantly make another Scrap Dragon. You don't really have to worry about it. And then we've already talked about this. The basic lineup of a Decree deck is pretty much this. You run Decree, maximize it, and then basically every deck in the format is maxing on Book of Moons because a lot of people are calling it the new Solemn, and I'd have to kind of agree. And then this card right here, Enemy Controller, which all 3 of these decks can easily use. Obviously, anything running Dandelion is obviously going to make a mess of tokens, and you have manipulation there. With Scraps, a lot of them run Level Eater, and that you get that ability right there to abuse Level Eater. And then there are combos where you contribute Ab-Zero with Enemy Controller, blow up your opponent's field, and do OTKs and stuff like that. So that's definitely. Now, with that being said, of course there always are decks that can't use Decree. There are decks that have low attack monsters such as Gadgets and Gladiator Beasts. These decks do have to actually be protected. And then you have decks like Blackwings and Infernities that they can't use Decree because a lot of the power of the decks rely in the traps themselves that the theme has to use to maximize its abilities, such as Icarus Attack, Infernity Barrier, Royal Decree, and Infernity Inferno. And, you know, you get pretty much the same basic lineup out of those decks, you know, like multiple warnings and 7 tools has become a hot card. Solemn Judgment's always been amazing. Bottomless has been staple for a few formats. And Royal Decree, which, you know, can even be splashed in Gladiator Beast, kind of I'll summon when I want to and then lock you down, you know. And I probably would put X Sabers on this side of the Decree too. But I mean, this is essentially what I really do think the format has boiled down to. And unless you're running like a specialty deck, some type of FTK or something like that, I really think that this format has basically become like pick a side. I mean, do you want to run these, or do you want to run this? You know, because I do see people who play quick draw and they use this lineup, and I don't feel it is as good. I mean, why would you spend time, you know, having to run MSTs and 7 tools and, you know, have to silence a bottomless and stuff like that when you can just run Decree, and now all your Junk Destroyer plays basically can just go off that much easier. When really explosive decks like these, like Ab-Zero and Scraps and stuff, go to this trap lineup, yeah, you get more defense, but you really hurt your explosive plays because you have to worry about, well, can I really do this Black Rose play when they have 4 cards in their back row and I just have, you know, a 7 tools? Okay, well, what if they chain? Then, you know, my whole game plan goes to shit. I'd rather just be able to flip over Decree and now say, well, if you don't have Book of Moon, guess what? You're going to lose your whole field. You know, when you run the Decree build, that's basically the only thing that stops you is Book of Moon. You know, I think a lot of people are realizing that when you run Decrees and you want to make Ab-Zeros and you want to make Scrap Dragons and Black Roses to make huge pluses and blow your opponent's fields up, this is the only thing that really stops you. And they've got 3 books, you've got 3 Decrees, pretty even odds. The only difference is when you flip this Decree over, you get to shut down all of these cards, you know. So just tell me what you guys think about this. If you don't think that the Decree lineup is very good or it's overrated, I honestly think it's as good easily as the general lineup that you'll see in most decks like Black Wings and Sabers and whatnot, with each deck running probably its own tech, you know, obviously like Barrier, Icarus, or Gotham Z, call each deck using its own little fancy trap. So thanks for watching, guys.